Hi guys, I hope you're doing really well. My name is Sarah and welcome to What the Horror, the channel where we talk about horror movies old and new. So today we are having a physical media update / horror haul. If you guys have seen my physical media updates before, you know it's never just physical media. There are always some other little random bits and bobs in there as well. So I'm going to show you the miscellaneous things and the physical media. The physical media mostly consists of my new horror editions, but there are 4 non-horror films which I am including in the haul or the update because just in case you guys are interested in my collection in general. Plus, one of them is really good, in my opinion. So if you found me through this episode and are new to the channel, then hello and welcome to What the Horror. I tend to do these physical media updates every 6 months, sometimes a year, just generally when I have enough of a pile to go through. But for the most part, I review films, I analyse films, I do deep dives of films. So if you did find me through this episode, do check out my back catalogue as well at the end. Okay, so let's kick off. I'm looking around and I think I'm going to start with miscellaneous. So first up is actually a gift that I got for my birthday. It is a drink holder which I am using today because it is hot outside. Today we have suddenly been inundated with incredible weather in the UK, so a cold drink is much needed. And this is absolutely incredible. It is a metal tumbler of, let's start at the beginning, of the Lost Boys. There we go. See the missing poster. You got the movie poster and you got Santa Carla. Yeah, these are incredible. They keep your water and your drinks so cold. They're apparently meant to keep your hot drinks hot, but I've not tried that. I just tend to have water in it and it keeps it so cold. It's incredible. Plus, it's the Lost Boys, which is really cool. I think that's my favourite side. I like that one. It's such a wonderful gift and I've been using it every single day since I got it. And I kind of want more of them because then if this one is drying after I've washed it, then I want to have another one available. So I might, for the love of horror, I seem to remember last year there was a stall selling these. I might see if that stall is back and have a look and pick like a backup one. Okay, second miscellaneous is 2 new pieces of clothing. One of them you have already seen before in a previous video, and that is my new Ghostbusters top. It is long black sleeved and on the front it says Ghostbusters and it has one of the ghost traps. But what you couldn't see, what my Patreons did see, because I did turn around and show them the back, but what you guys didn't see is on the back it has it has a proton pack, which I love. I wore this out with some jeans and my black Vans and I'll be honest, I never felt cooler. So this is from Zavvi. I don't know if you guys have access to Zavvi in America and other countries, but here in the UK we have Zavvi, which is a little bit like Forbidden Planet as well, and maybe a little bit like, I don't know, I want to say Hot Topic or something like that, where you get movies, puzzles, merchandise, collectibles, clothing, all to do with the kind of nerd world. So you'll have superheroes, you'll have horror, you'll have video games, you'll have fantasy and sci-fi and things like that. So I saw that one and it was actually on an offer, which was like two for £20, and this one was already 18, so I thought, well, for £2 I might as well get another one, and so I chose this, what I am wearing. This is a plain white t-shirt, but it is actually a Ghostbusters top, and it just has the little emblem for Stantz, for Dr. Ray Stantz. There is one for every single Ghostbuster, so there's Zeddemort, there's Venkman, and there's Spengler, but I went with Stantz because Dr. Ray Stantz has been my absolute favourite Ghostbuster ever since I was a little girl. Yeah, love Ray so much. So I thought for £2, it's just a nice, simple white top, but it just has a little detailing, and I love merchandise like that. I don't really like over-the-top, in-your-face, garish merchandise. Some of them is fine. I have some pieces that are not subtle. I mean, for God's sake, I've got a top with a proton pack on the back, but I like ones that look a little more subtle or look like they're lifted out of the universe that they're from. And so, you know, I can go out wearing this, and the people that know, the people that don't, it just looks like a white t-shirt. To both of these tops in the description box down below. Even if you're not interested in these two in particular, you might like a lot of the other ones that are available on the 2 for £20, or maybe you could just have a browse and, you know, see if you like it. This is not sponsored, by the way. I paid my own money for these tops, but just in case you, you know, you're only human, you know, you're only human. You're going to think, wow, I need those in my wardrobe. So if that's you, then I will leave a link to it in the description box below. Okay, so my next and last piece of miscellaneous is something that I am so in love with and I'm so excited to share with you. So, my beautiful and very talented friend Rosie is an incredible artist, and she recently got into doing digital art and has created her own Etsy store. The Etsy store is called Luna C Co, and she currently has some pieces on the store ready to buy. But Rosie is also open to commissions, and when she announced that she was creating a store, I think I was the first person to ask for a commissioned piece. I have seen her art develop over on Instagram. I knew it was a style that I really, really adored, and I just knew that I wanted a piece of her work. I also knew exactly what I wanted, and that is a commissioned piece of Evelyn, the character from the 1999 The Mummy. So as you can see, this is an absolutely beautiful piece of artwork. The detailing in it, the little bits of character from the film with the scarabs, the torch, the Book of the Dead, her locket as well. It is exactly what I was hoping for, exactly what I pictured, and more, to be honest with you. We worked a little bit on it. She asked for a little bit of my input, but to be honest with you, I said that I just trust in her abilities, and I was just happy for her to go wild and create what she wanted. But it's such a beautiful, beautiful piece. I'm waiting to find the perfect frame for it, and then it will be up on the wall in my house. So I will leave a link to Rosie's art page on Instagram down in the description box below, but I will also leave the name of it here. She is open to commission pieces, and she is going to be giving information about that on the Instagram page, but you guys can also just directly message her. She has done other commission pieces as well since mine, and I think that she's going to be very busy. I think that she is so incredibly talented, and again, not sponsored. She's not paying me to tell you this. I just love her artwork, and I'm so glad that I own a piece of it. She is doing a series of women in horror. She currently has a piece of the Frankenstein's Bride on her page, but she is also working on a Love Witch piece and a Pearl piece. They're incredible pieces that are taking inspiration from vintage and classic movie posters, and hopefully they will be available to buy from this weekend. If it's not this weekend, they are coming in the future, so I would say keep an eye out for those. Sorry, the thing is crinkling, but the quality of paper that the print comes on is incredible. It was packaged so well, so it arrived in immaculate condition, and what I also love is that in spite of it being in a plastic covering, it is a compostable bag. So the packaging is actually environmentally friendly, which I am all for. I hate unnecessary packaging and plastics. So I was so happy that this is all environmentally friendly. Just want to show you an extra little piece I got. This came in the package that is it's a piece from the Love Witch. It's Lane from the Love Witch, which she was experimenting with. This one isn't on the store, she was just playing around, but again, it's another example of her style, and I am so in love with this. I actually got this the day that I watched the Love Witch, and I was like, oh, it's meant to be. So this is going up in my house as well. I love them both so much. So if you're interested in checking out her store, then I will leave the links down below. Okay, let's move on now to the physical media, and it's a fairly healthy stack that I have this time. It is a mixture of DVD and Blu-ray, and it is a mixture of thrifted or secondhand pieces as well as brand new purchases. If you guys have seen some of my collection pieces before, you know that I'm not specifically VHS or DVD or Blu-ray or 4K. I tend to have a mixture of 4K, Blu-ray and DVD. If I can find them secondhand, I will. Some specific pieces I like to invest a little bit more money into, and so I will buy them brand new. I also feel like it's a good way to show studios, yes, people want this, so make more of it. And also it means that the money is going to the people who have created the films. Films that I like to upgrade, I like to see in really good quality. Some I'm less bothered about, it's more just the experience of watching the film, so that's when I'm not as fussed and will probably just get it in DVD. So starting off with non-horror, the first one that I got was Girl Interrupted, starring Angelina Jolie, Winona Ryder. It also has Clea Duvall and Brittany Murphy. Now, this film, I was obsessed with this film when I was in high school. I was a big fangirl of Angelina Jolie, and I watched this film and it was just so beautiful and so haunting, and I just love the setting of the 60s. I loved the women in it, the characters in it. The performances are so powerful, and just them being in this mental institution with the Vietnam War as a backdrop. It was just so good, and I was absolutely obsessed with it. And for some reason, when I had my little purge of physical media, which I've referenced before, most things I got rid of I regretted, and Girl Interrupted was one of those. So I saw this secondhand. I paid £1 for it, which I'm not sure what that is in dollars. I think that might be like $1.10. And this is one that I don't mind having in DVD form because I feel like the way it is shot, it has quite a grainy aesthetic to it, and so I don't need it in the highest quality. But I would highly, highly recommend this one. It's one that I think if you're of a sensitive disposition, or if there's things that you find quite triggering, then maybe, it might not be the most fun watch. It is certainly not light-hearted, but the writing and performances are fantastic. So yeah, I'm glad to have this back in my collection. Okay, and the next one is The Commitments. Again, this is just on DVD. So this says, Jimmy Rabbit is a man with a vision to bring soul music to Dublin. His friends Derek and Outspan ask him to manage their band, and Jimmy agrees, but only on his terms. He places an ad in the local paper which simply reads, "Have you got soul? If so, the world's hardest working band is looking for you." And so were born The Commitments. I love soul music, so this is just, right up my street. It's been a long, long time since I've watched it. A long, long time, but I felt a rewatch was necessary. It does have some special features. I love how one of the special features is interactive menus and scene selection. I mean, how bad are your special features if you have to advertise those? The samples from a soundtrack, a music video, and a trailer. Wow. Secondhand, I think that one was either £1 or £2. I'm not quite sure. But either way, it's not bad, is it, for a film that you just fancy checking out? Next is a film that I'm not sure many of you will be aware of. This is a British drama / British comedy that came out in the 80s, I believe, 89. And it stars Pauline Collins and Tom Colty, and that is Shirley Valentine. So Shirley Valentine follows the titular character of Shirley. She is a housewife in the north of England, and her husband just doesn't appreciate her, mistreats her, expects her to just cook and clean, and she feels very unfulfilled in life. And so one day she decides that she's going to go on holiday without her husband, and she goes to Greece, and she just basically has an epiphany of what is important in life. She has this sort of second blooming, and just finds herself in Greece, which is just a beautiful place. So this was one that my mum really loved, and I remember watching it with her a couple of times when I was younger, and I saw that they had this when I was getting the other two. I saw that they had this, and this was only £2, and I thought, you know what, I kind of fancy revisiting this just out of interest to see how well it holds up, because I haven't watched it in a long time. And also, watching it as a young woman or a young girl is going to be different to watching it as a grown woman. So yeah, I'm excited to try that one again. Okay, and the final non-horror one is probably my favourite of all the physical media that I have got. And if you watched my Everything I Watched in April recap, you might be able to guess what this is. But if not, let me enlighten you. That is The Blues Brothers. And this one I bought on Blu-ray and brand spanking new, because again, if you watched my April recap, you will know that this film is now my most favourite film in the whole wide world. This film is, well, it's something else. So The Blues Brothers follows the Blues Brothers. You have Jake Blues, played by John Belushi, and you have Elwood Blues, played by Dan Aykroyd. And Jake, yes, Jake, not John. Jake gets out of prison. They reunite. The orphanage they grew up in is closing down, and they decide that they need to raise money to help it stay open. And so they decide to do that. They need to get their band back together, the Blues Brothers, and, try and raise some money. And chaos and wackiness and bizarreness ensues, because it's so much more than that. This film is unique and bizarre, but I love it so much. And I'd watched it on streaming and it wasn't the best quality, and I just thought, this is going to be one that I'm going to rewatch a lot. I want it in good condition. I did hear that the 4K, actually I don't think there is a 4K of this one. No, I think I'm thinking of another one in the pile. There isn't a 4K for this one, so this is the best quality I can get. There are some bonus features. There's stories behind the making of the Blues Brothers. That sounds quite interesting. Transposing the music and remembering John. So that's the back and special features. So remembering John is because John Belushi actually died in the early 80s. So that will be an interesting and a nice little special feature. But yeah, I'm so glad I have this in my collection. I love it. And also, how aesthetically pleasing is that? The colours, just black, white, sand and blue. That's my colour palette. Man, that is my colour palette in a nutshell. Now we're moving on to the horror, the good stuff, the stuff you guys have all been waiting for. And number one on that list is The Red Dragon. This is... oh God, which entry is it? It's one of the sequels to Silence of the Lambs. Is it the third? The fourth? Well, no, this is a prequel. Sorry, I should say this is a prequel to it. This one was made in 2002 and stars Edward Norton and Anthony Hopkins returning as Hannibal Lecter. I think I've seen this once before, but I've never owned it. I got this secondhand in an Oxfam for 99p, which I think is like $1. I want to do at some point a deep dive into the character of Hannibal Lecter. I think that is such an interesting, charismatic and complex character that I would love to look into a little deeper, or maybe just the franchise as a whole, probably the character. So I thought to have this on physical media would be great. There's also loads of bonus material, including Anthony Hopkins, Lecter and Me, which I think could be quite interesting. Visual effects, FBI profile inside the mind of a serial killer. That sounds right up my street. So loads of special features. Hopefully they will be useful for my deep dive. Next up, we've still got the wrapper on. Hold on. Woo. Okay, next up we have Ty West's X. I already had Pearl, which I think I got for Christmas. So I didn't have X, so I asked for this one for my birthday. This and Pearl were two of my favourite horror films that came out in 2022. And I'm so excited to see Maxine. I haven't seen the trailer yet because I don't want to know. But yeah, now I have both films in the collection. And the reason that I also wanted it is because I want to do a deep dive of the character of Maxine and the character of Pearl. More Pearl, I think I'm intrigued by. So I wanted to own both of them. Not sure if this one has special features. Oh, it does. The Farmer's Daughter, That X Factor, and Pearl Makeup Time Lapse. That to me sounds like it's the adult film cut together, The Farmer's Daughter, right? But also, how cool is this little special feature bit? So yeah. Have, oh my god, another one in plastic. You can tell I haven't watched these yet because they're still in their casing. I get them with the best of intentions to watch them, but you know, life. Okay, then we have Renfield. Is this one of the best films in the world? No. Did I have a really fun time with it? Yeah. And I'm also, as you guys know, doing a deep dive of the evolution of Dracula, so I thought this one would be good because, again, we have special features. Go behind the action with over 50 minutes of bonus features, deleted and extended scenes, alternative takes, Dracula Uncaged, and more. So I'm hoping there will be some useful stuff there for my deep dive, but also just a fun one to have in my collection. It's a good time, and I kind of like having this as a direct sequel to the 1931 Dracula, which I have, so yeah, it's just brilliant. Then another one that I got for my birthday, and I was so excited to own this one. This was one that I hadn't seen before, and generally what I try to do is watch the film, and if I really liked it, then I will invest in a physical copy. But sometimes there's films that I just know that's going to be, for me, that's going to be my style, so I really want to own it. And that is The Love Witch. This one I think is from 2016. This follows Elaine. She learns how to be a witch after her heart is broken by her husband, and she practices with Wicca and magic and love potions, and she tries to find her perfect love. You know, a companion for life, and she uses love magic, and it doesn't always go right, and she ends up with some duds, and so it's her journey through her search for her soulmate, for true love. The visuals of this film are absolutely divine. I talked about this in my April recap. It is filmed like it is a film from the 1960s, so it's so beautiful to look at, but I also think that Elaine is one of the best written characters, or female characters, in a long time, especially one who is complex and isn't always necessarily the hero of the film. I think that it's interesting to use someone so beautiful and so endearing do things that are not necessarily always good. It just makes your relationship with her as an audience much more complex. But I'm so glad I own this on physical media, and I already cannot wait to watch it. Watch it again. I've already watched it. Watch it again. Okay, that I think was everything I got for my birthday in terms of physical media. But the next one, again, is Blu-ray, bought brand new. That is Midsummer, or Midsommar. I called it Midsommar, and people lost their minds that I called it that. But Ari Aster calls it that. So I'm like, yeah, but he's the writer and director. He knows the name of his film. So I called it Midsommar, but just, you know, to please both camps, Midsummer and Midsommar. I didn't own this one, and I wasn't going to, but watch this. This may sound really dramatic, but it took me a few hours to recover afterwards. Like, I was left feeling a whole bunch of stuff. It was an incredibly, it's like an endurance test, like a visually beautiful film, an incredibly well crafted film, but just, I mean, if you've seen it, you know it leaves you feeling a certain way, and it took me a long time to recover, and I thought, I'm in no rush to rush out and watch that again, but I do want to watch it again, and I also want to do a deep dive of it. I'm contemplating doing a deep dive of Midsummer for Midsummer in July, but we'll see. Either way, I'm going to do a deep dive of it at some point. A comparison of Midsummer and Hereditary, but that was me a couple of years ago, and I think that this film and Hereditary are both worth revisiting with my increased ability to write a script, to research, and to edit. I just think that these are films that deserve a revisit and a redo. My stomach's grumbling. So yeah, I got Midsummer. It's not the most beautiful edition. It's not the A24 director's cut by any means, but it is still lovely. Look, you can see some of the colour palette on the back. And we do have special features. There's a featurette, Let the Festivities Begin. I'm hoping that will be useful for my deep dive. If not, it could just be a really interesting watch. But yeah, on Etsy, there was this store a couple of years ago that made custom Blu-ray sleeves with artwork that they had created, and they had one for Midsummer, and I hadn't even seen the film yet, and I wanted to buy the film just so I could have the sleeve. It was so beautiful, and I don't think the store exists anymore. I cannot find it for love nor money, because I thought once I had this, I wanted the sleeve, went to find it, just was not there. So I'm really sad about that, because it was so beautiful. Okay, then I treated myself again. This one is a little cheeky upgrade. This is a Blu-ray of 3 films, which is an upgrade of a film, one of these films that I had on DVD, and that is Ghostbusters. I can't even. I honestly, the addiction is going strong. I have just ordered this book. It is a novelization of the first 2 films, and I'm also contemplating buying the video game. I'm not really into any game at the moment. It's been a while since I found one that I'm really hooked on, and I've heard incredible things that the video game of it is wonderful, because it is written by Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis, who wrote the 2 films, and it is voiced by the 4 Ghostbusters as well. So I'm kind of tempted. There is no hope. I'm a lost cause. Go save yourselves. I'm lost, blowing in the wild of my Ghostbuster obsession. Recently released this collection of the 3 films. You have Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters 2, and Ghostbusters Afterlife. And this is in preparation for the release of the brand new film, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, which I will be buying myself a copy of. I might wait till it comes down in price, though. I'm not that desperate for it just yet, but I do want to support the creators. So I had the original Ghostbusters on DVD, and I wanted a little bit of an upgrade. And I will say that the original one is quite grainy, and I did contemplate getting the 4K of Ghostbusters, but every review I saw said that the transfer to 4K is not good. They have done something with the contrast. They have also tried to clean it up, and it has actually made the colours worse and the quality of the footage worse. So I decided not to go with the 4K and just get the Blu-ray, because my 4K TV and my DVD player, my Blu-ray player, my 4K player scales Blu-rays anyway, so the quality always looks a little bit better. So I've watched the second one and it looked immaculate. I've not watched the first one yet, because I have already watched it 3 times last month, but I will check it out. And I'm sure Afterlife will look beautiful, but it's more the first 2 that I wanted to have in my collection. But also, as much fun as it is trying to collect a franchise sort of in the wild or build it up, it is nifty that it's all just in one, because my collection is getting bigger. I'm running out of room, so just having 3 in the one case is a lot better. And the discs are quite cool. Like, you've got the first one, second, and Afterlife. I love that you've got these different versions of the Stay Puft. Okay, then I did treat myself a couple of times actually, but they were all really good price. This, for 3 films, this was $11.99 on Blu-ray, and it was a new release. It's unbelievable. The DVD 3, I think was that $10.99 or $9.99? And I just thought it just makes so much more sense to get it on Blu-ray, better quality, and it's not much more to pay. Oh, and Midsummer was only £7 because that's been out for ages. But then I did, these next 2 were not cheap, but I invested in a couple more Arrow collection pieces. I might do a video actually of my entire Arrow collection at some point, maybe not now, but a few months down the line, I might just do one that is just my Arrow collection. Or maybe just like a collector's editions, like 88 films, 101 films, Arrow, that kind of thing. I want to get into more Giallo. Giallo? I've seen Suspiria, the original one, but I want to just explore it a little bit more. My friend Madison is really big into Giallo, and so she's sort of helped me with a few suggestions. And I went for... one is Dario Argento. This is apparently one of just the best in Giallo. It's just a perfect example of what is on offer there. So I was really excited to try this one. I haven't watched it yet, but I am going to, and I'll let you know what I think. Being Arrow collection, you have the Arrow symbol on the side, and then look at all those special features. I think there's a single Arrow edition I have where I've watched every one. Ringu is the closest, but there's so much of it. And also, you get two sides of it. So you get this one, which I believe this is the original side, which is the one that I've chosen because I prefer the look of this. But then on the other side, you get this original piece of artwork, which is beautiful, it's lovely, but I've gone with this one. I don't buy Arrow very often, but when I do treasure them and appreciate the work and effort that goes into them. I'm excited to watch Deep Red. I think that's, I think it could be for me. I don't know. I watched the trailers of Deep Red and the next one when I was doing my slasher evolution, and the visuals of it, the plot, it just sounds very me. The plot is one night musician Marcus Daly, looking up from the street below, witnesses the brutal murder of a woman in her apartment. Racing to the scene, Marcus just manages to miss the perpetrator, or does he? As he takes on the role of amateur sleuth, Marcus finds himself ensnared in a bizarre web of murder and mystery where nothing is what it seems. I mean, it just sounds incredible. I also invested in another Giallo film, and that is Blood and Black Lace by Mario Bava. He is another big name in Giallo, and this is another one that I'm really excited about. I will read you the story. The Christian haute couture fashion house is a home to models and backstabbing and blackmail and drug deals and murder. 6 models, 6 victims for a crazed masked killer. I'm so excited for this one, and can I just say, this might be, I don't even know if this is giving it justice, but this might be my favourite cover of all of my physical media. So I think this was the original one. I can't see, is that focused? Yeah. So that was the original piece, which is beautiful, but I just adore this. It's so beautiful. But yeah, both films sound right up my street, but they're ones that I'm going to have to sit down and watch properly because it's subtitles. I can't just be doing something else at the same time, like ironing or writing notes for work, so I need to really find time where I can sit and focus. But I am so, oh, look at them, beautiful. I love them so much, and hopefully this is the start of a beautiful friendship between me and Giallo. Now, I promise, and these last two I bought at the same time. I bought these from Oxfam again, I believe. I just was walking past and they seemed to have quite a healthy selection on the shelf, so I thought I'll nip in and see what they have. The first one I got was £1.49, and that is a double feature of 2 versions of the same film, and that is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. This is not a Universal monster, it's not a Universal movie, but it is in that world, isn't it? It's those kind of classic monsters like the Mummy and Van Helsing, and I know he's not a villain, but that world of Dracula and Invisible Man, the Wolfman. And I just, with me doing my deep dives of Universal monsters, because I'm starting with Dracula and then I will do others, I thought I might do one on Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. This one has the 1932 and 41 version. So Ingrid Bergman, Spencer Tracy, some big names in this. So yeah, so this one was £1.49, not bad for 2 films. Not watched them yet, but I'm looking forward to. I do love a classic black and white horror film. And the final one, oh, I am so excited about this. When I saw it on the shelf, I had to double look and I thought, it can't be. It just cannot be. This one was £1.49 again, and that is Guillermo del Toro's The Orphanage. Oh, this is one of my favourite international horror films. I watched it for the first time last year. It's a Spanish horror film. It is incredible. It is spooky, but more than anything, rather than horror, it's more psychological thriller, and it is so beautiful, so creepy, but so heartbreaking in places. And I was absolutely awestruck by it last year, and I thought I would like to have it at some point in my collection, but I don't even mind having it on DVD. I'm just so glad to have it. I quite like this as well for the cover. That's really interesting. Many years ago, Laura left the orphanage where she had spent her childhood. Now, 30 years later, she returns with her husband Carlos and her young son Simon, with a dream of restoring and reopening the long-abandoned orphanage as a home for disabled children. But the mysterious surroundings awaken Simon's imagination, and the boy starts to spin a web of fantastic tales and not so innocent games. Oh, so I'm so happy to have this one. So that is it. That is my physical media update. Let me just get the pile. There we go. That is, the light bin of my filming life. Here we go. Can you see them all? Just about? Yeah. To me, that is quite a healthy stack. You've got horror, non-horror, ones I've not watched, ones I cannot wait to rewatch, and just some of my favourite films like Blues Brothers and Ghostbusters and The Love Witch. Oh, pretty happy with those. And I'm glad that while I invest in some brand new, I also like that some are thrifted as well. I am a big advocate for recycle, reuse. Let me know which were some of your favourites in the collection. Are there any of these that you already own or that you would like to own? Which do you think is one of my best finds or purchases? And yeah, let me know if there's any that you are after. Like, let me know your holy grails. Because for me at the moment, let me just check my Amazon wishlist. So I want Thelma and Louise in the Criterion collection because the artwork on that, I'll put a picture of it here if I can, is stunning. And I don't own a single Criterion collection yet, so that would be nice. I also want the new release, the 50th anniversary of The Wicker Man. Again, if there's a picture, I'll put it here. The artwork is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I still want Psycho on 4K. I'm still holding out for that one. And I still want Scream 2 on 4K. And I think I would like a copy of The Lighthouse. So those are what I'm on the lookout for at the moment. So let me know any of your wish lists or your holy grails. Let me know any good purchases that you have found recently as well. And like I said at the beginning, if you're new here, then please do give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and click that subscribe button so you can join the What the Horror family. There is a massive back catalogue of other content. There are other physical media hauls, but there are also reviews, analysis, deep dives, so do check those out. And if you would like to join these wonderful names and people here, these are my Patreon members. They, as you say, keep the lights on here. They give me emotional and financial support so that I can keep putting out content on here for you guys. And if you would like to join them, because we have such a wonderful Patreon community over there, if you'd like to become a member, there is a link to the description box in the description box below. There are different tiers ranging from $2 to $15 with different benefits in there, but there is extra content every single week, so give that a look if you're interested. But in the meantime, thank you as always for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. Take care of yourselves, and I will talk to you in the next episode. Bye.